In this video, I'm going to be talking about some tips and tricks so you can make more money with the sports books in the NFL season. Now, the NFL is one of my favorite sports to bet on, and you really can make a lot of money with the NFL season. And finally, Tom Brady has retired, but unfortunately, we still have to watch him on commercials. Tom Brady, if you're watching this, I'm not sorry. So hopefully these tips and tricks will help you and you can make more money from the sports books. Let's do this shit. Okay, so the first things first, you gotta understand bankroll management if you're gonna make any money betting on sports. This includes the NFL. One thing that's pretty sad is a lot of sports bettors will be out of money by the time it's October. The NFL season starts in September, so this is a huge problem because people are not managing their money correctly and they're giving all their money to the sports books. So the first things first, you've got to start betting 1 to 3% of your bankroll. If you have $1,000 in your account, you're either going to put $10 or $30 on each play that you make. Don't be a dumbass and bet 250, 250, 250, and 250. You're going to lose it every time. I know you want to double down, but just keep in mind you want to put 1 to 3% of your bankroll on every play that you make. Also, make sure you never place more than 15% of your bankroll in a single day on the NFL because you're going to go through cold streaks and you're going to go through hot streaks, and you don't want to just burn through your whole bankroll in a day. To be successful with sports betting, you have to have a lot of discipline, and this is what a lot of people lack. I've actually done a complete video on sports betting and discipline, so make sure you check that out. So please, just make sure you're only betting 1 to 3% of your bankroll on each wager that you place. Make sure you're using some kind of software. For me, I use OddsJam because I completely track 140 sports books. I don't have to manually put anything in. It's 100% free for that feature. They do have a lot of premium features, but in order to manage your bankroll properly, you have to have some kind of bet tracker. And with NFL season, you need to be able to go back and look and see where you placed bets and how much your profit margins are and everything. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in OddsJam, but the bet tracker is completely free. Always take these promotional boosts that different sportsbooks will have. For example, FanDuel has them all the time. They might have something like, hey, nutsack, get a 25% boost on whatever game you want to bet on in the NFL. Yes, it's true. They actually do call their customers nutsacks. Personally, they call me Dingleberry all the time. Well, one time they called me dumbass. But anyways, playing with the boost can really help grow your bankroll quickly. You could have like a negative 140 and all of a sudden you have a plus 100. Just make sure you opt in because they want you to spend your money with them, right? So this is their way of keeping their loyal customers by offering them some incentives. So just make sure you're taking advantage of these bonuses, but make sure you don't take their parlay boost. Watch my videos on parlays. They're not a good idea. The sports books, the odds of you actually winning them are pretty low, but the boost, they're certainly a good idea. You know what else is a good idea? Subscribing to my channel. Oh, that was flawless. Betting against the public and the NFL is actually a very good idea, especially when we're talking about spread betting. Now, what I mean by this is, let's say the Philadelphia Eagles and the Indianapolis Colts are playing each other. The Philadelphia Eagles are like a 10-point favorite over the Indianapolis Colts, right? So early in the week, you check on it and you see that the Eagles are a 10-point favorite. Well, later on, before Sunday night, the Eagles are now a 14-point favorite. Only a dumbass would go for the Eagles for the 14 points. The sportsbooks have to balance it out. And trust me, the general public is never really right. Maybe I shouldn't say never, but oftentimes they are wrong. So in this example, since the Indianapolis Colts were such an underdog and originally it was 10 points, now they are plus 14 points, it would be smarter to go against the public since everybody's taking the Eagles and go with the Indianapolis Colts for plus 14 points. Not to mention there's no more value on the Eagles in this case, and all the value is on the Indianapolis Colts. If you ever want to test this, go ahead and look at all the matchups on like a Tuesday night or something, whenever they're available on the sports books, and just chart it. What did the line start at, and then what did it end up at right before the game? If you do, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. You are taking all the value away when you go with the public. This is something a lot of professional sports bettors will do, not just with NFL, with any sport. They're real good at reading lines and movements for the lines. So remember, the public sucks ass. It's very important that with NFL betting and really any sport that you're going to be betting on, that you shop for the best prices. Meaning every sports book is going to have different odds for games that you can place wagers on. It can really make a big difference if you get the best odds for whatever NFL game you're trying to place a wager on. So let's say you're a small bettor, you got like $1,000 in your bankroll and you're betting $30 on each game. At a 120 odds, if you win those, it pays out $55. And if you win 25 a week, that would be $1,375. Now the same price, if you place $30 at -110, it would be $57.27, and if you did that 25 times every month, it would be $1,431.75. So you could see that the difference is $56.75 a month. And if you times that times 6, which would be the whole NFL season, you would make an extra $340.50. But even though those are like 10-point differences for the odds, you're going to find some that are like 30 points difference. And as this example shows, you can actually make $340.50, but you could probably make a lot more than that. So I always shop for odds before I place any bet. If you're completely confused about shopping for odds, I've actually done a video on it, which basically just shows that it's like shopping for cars. Obviously, when you're shopping for a car, you're going to get the best price you can. Well, odds are no different when you're placing a wager. You want to get the best odds you can, and the price is going to be the best you can. Become a specialist when you're betting on NFL games. Now, what the hell do I mean by that? It can be actually pretty overwhelming looking at all the games and trying to decide what you're going to bet on. I mean, a lot of the spreads are overinflated, and sometimes there isn't a lot of value there. So one of the best things I ever did was I studied player props. And what I did was I studied quarterbacks specifically, and then I studied the defenses. I wanted to see how their cornerbacks and safeties, how many yards they gave up per game, how strong they were as a pass coverage defense. Then I would look for teams that had really bad pass coverage, meaning their cornerbacks, and safeties were awful. Then I would look at the lines for the quarterbacks with yardage or completions, and I would see if there was anything there that I could actually play on. That's just one example of being a specialist. I basically was a specialist on finding quarterbacks and teams that had crappy pass coverage. Another way of looking at this is, say the Chiefs are playing, I don't know, a team that they're pretty much going to blow out, right? And since the Chiefs have the most passing yards, in 2022 they had 5,250, I might see that they're playing a weaker team, and that team's probably going to be behind, right? Therefore, that team's going to throw the ball more, and the Chiefs really don't have the best pass coverage. So I might take the opposing team's quarterback to get a certain amount of receptions or yards per game, meaning I would take the over for either yardage or completions per game. The next piece of advice is no 3s and 7s. I know what you're thinking. I can't even count to 10. You are correct. But anyways, 3s and 7s are really important with spread betting or taking the team with points. But anyways, if you're betting on the underdogs and the run line is 3.5, that is so much better than 3, which could be a push. Basically means that the team could come within a field goal. But 7s are also important. And 7s are important for underdogs. If you can get a plus 7.5, that's so much better for an underdog. It basically just means that the team needs to come within a touchdown. Now also 3s and 7s are important for favorites too. For instance, if you can get a 2.5 on a favorite, that is so much better than a 3, meaning that the team can just win by a field goal. And if you're taking them as a favorite and you can get a 6.5 versus a 7, that is so much better, obviously, because they can just win by a touchdown. So just keep in mind, if you're betting with spreads, the numbers 3 and 7 are really important, depending on if you're going for the favorite or the underdog, which way you want to go. Okay, so you want to get your bets in as early as you can, meaning you don't want to wait until Sunday at 11:59 to place your bet, because a lot of games start at 12 o'clock on Sunday. Depending on which sportbook you use, you can probably get your bet in early in the week, but the reason you want to get your bets in early is because lines move, and as the line progresses, more and more people will put money on something that you might be interested in. Therefore, the value is taken away if you wait and put your bet in at the last second. Now I know everybody has a life and they can't just sit at home and watch sports all day like me. But you know, Tuesday when you're pissed off at your coworker because he's a lazy sack of shit, just put on your headphones and start listening to some sports stuff. Then you can be prepared to put in your bets earlier. And as an added bonus, you don't have to talk to that lazy piece of shit. Just to show that I'm a normal person, I used to have a job and I had to listen to a 68-year-old guy bitch about football every Monday. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about. He also wore purple knee pads to work, which is kind of weird. But anyways, if you can, just make sure you can put your bets in as early as you possibly can. And remember, listening to a 68-year-old man talk about football while he's wearing knee pads is not fun. That son of a bitch. Next, when there's no value with a bet that you might be interested in, don't make the bet. Believe me, sports betting takes a lot of discipline. Kind of like Sunday night when you know you gotta work, you don't drink 4 glasses of wine. Oh shit, it's Monday morning. Oftentimes, moneyline bets are no value. Like if you take this Chiefs and Chicago Bears game, right? The Chiefs are a negative 600 favorite if you take them for just a straight up win. There's absolutely no value in that. What I see a lot of sports bettors do is they put like 10 or 20 units on that because it's such a favorite and they know they don't get paid much, but upsets do happen, and when that happens, you're going to be out a lot of money. Oh shit, the Bears actually won a game. Another example would be if you're interested in a spread and you get in too late and it's like a negative 200 now. I wouldn't even waste my time putting a wager on that. In fact, if it's not a negative 150 or below, I won't even bet on it because there's no value there. Okay, the next tip is for absolute beginners. And believe me, we all got to start somewhere. Rome wasn't built in a day. I hate that saying. But anyways, let's say you don't know a lot about the NFL, but you really want to start betting on the NFL. Start with one team. For me, I know a lot about the Indianapolis Colts. Do I bet with the Indianapolis Colts? No, because they suck. But this year is going to be different. Actually, I could make money betting on the Indianapolis Colts, but I choose not to. Really, I don't bet with them because I'm disciplined and I know that I let me being a fan of them, that would get in the way. But if you're completely new, study one team and then just study their division. So if you were like me, you could study the Indianapolis Colts and then you could study the AFC South really good. You know, become an expert in the AFC South. But when you break it down like that, it really does make it easier to start betting on the NFL, and it really does help you from getting overwhelmed and stuff. Alright, so you survived one of my videos. I knew you could do it because I believed in you the whole entire time. But anyways, if you like this video, could you go ahead and like it? Leave a comment. Let me know if you have any tips on betting on the NFL. Let me know your favorite Tom Brady insult. Oh, believe me, I got a lot of them. But anyways, if you want more sports betting tips, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. As always, feel free to check out the description. I always put a crap load of links in there. And I'm out. I gotta go poop in the neighbor's pool.